The deck I'm playing is an adaptation of a deck I played in regular standard actually. But this was before the last couple of sets, so there's some new cards now. Probably make the deck a bit better, particularly for Artisan. So the new card is the Research Desk. So playing 4 copies of that, 4 copies of the Experimental Synthesizer, and the main kind of workhorses of the deck are the Dragonspark Anvil and Dragonspark Reactor. The Anvil's going to be making a 1/1 token every time any of these artifacts, like the Research Desk or Synthesizer, leave the battlefield. The Reactor's going to be building up charge counters every time. And then the rest of the deck is basically just removal. We've got some copies of Flame Breather, which trigger off pretty much every other card in the deck except this Chef. And yeah, the Chef copies, again, just a cheap creature to get on the board. You can get cards off things like Synthesizer. So the only cards here that is not in standard, I think, is Deadly Dispute. So you could replace those with the 1-cost Sacrifice Draw card, for example, from one of the newer sets, or just with more removal. It's not really an integral part of the deck, it's just to keep things flowing smoothly. Only playing 22 lands because you can see from the curve everything's 1 or 2 mana. As long as you get 2 mana down, playing stuff like Research Desk, you can really hit your other lands. I even had a game where I had 1 land for the first 4 turns that I still managed to win just from drawing off Research Desks and that kind of thing. Playing these 1 mana spells, Voltage Surge. Get into some games and show you how it plays. As I said, I was playing a version of this in which I have a YouTube video of as well. I think that deck had a couple of copies of Nixilis in it, and otherwise was pretty much the same as this, minus the Research Desk, maybe some slightly better rare removal. Actually, I think it had, this was before Meathook Massacre was banned in standard, so it had at least one of those. So playing against aggro maybe, yep. So the other thing is people don't seem to be playing much artifact hate in this format. So I'm just going to kill that now, I think. Slow them down an extra turn. Yeah, they're not playing artifact hate, so you can get away with having like 4 copies of Dragonspark Anvil and Dragonspark Reactor on the board without really any chance of the opponent getting rid of them. It's especially relevant with the Dragonspark Reactor because you need to keep the 4 mana up to activate that if worried about removal. It's a bit annoying that we're getting mana flooded, considering that I'm playing a 22 land deck. The probability of drawing 6 lands and now opening 10 cards is pretty low. Really just need another artifact now, something like the Research Desk, to start triggering these anvils once we get one. Okay, so they did have artifact removal, but they used it on the Flame Breather, which is fine by me. Yeah, once we have a a artifact creature off the anvil, we can be getting 2-for-1s each turn by sacrificing it. So if I hit more land, I can get rid of that tramway station next turn to try and draw something useful. This is fine, taking 1 damage per turn gives us plenty of time to draw into some relevant cards. Speaking of, alright, so that got us a bit of board presence, got us some removal. Okay, I can just kill the Ronin. Drawing nothing but land still. Probably should have used the treasure for the tramway station activation so that I could get the value off that without having to sacrifice the other creature. Just turn my audio down a bit, it's a bit loud. The research desk going. Play the Sizer. Another research desk. Get the tramway station on the board. Opponent's got both enchantments down now, but no creatures to get any value off them. Activate this. Play the Flame Breather. Opponent holding priority for some reason. probably got removal in hand. This only triggers when you cast, so there's not really an advantage in dropping it before the research desk. We might be able to hit a deadly dispute with the desk in case they have removal flame breather. Just grab that instead. Dragonspark reactor. Fortunately a bit late for that, having used half of our research desks now. The opponent's almost dead. Okay, it's going to deal 2 damage to something, we can sacrifice it to kill the sniper. I think opponent's dead this turn. So, and I could have just killed them with the anvil and the reactor, but to make things a bit safer I was going to sack this, get another card. Most cards would have let us get another trigger off this flame breather. We'll see how we go with another game. Hopefully don't get mana flooded this time and we can get things rolling a bit quicker. Not the best hand. We can't play this on turn 1 because it doesn't do anything. I guess turn 3. We at least have early removal, early creature to stop an aggro deck, which I think is probably the biggest danger against this deck. The mono white deck doesn't play well into this. I don't think a control deck will play that well into it either. Which looks like is what we're up against. I haven't played against the mono black sacrifice deck, which could be another strong archetype, because that one kind of abuses the alchemy cards that let draft from spellbooks, because at least in Pauper they were able to draft rares from the spellbook and then hit you with board wipes and kind of nonsense stuff for that format. It was taking a long time to decide whether to bounce a creature or not. Typical blue player. Chance I'll get something I can't play with this because of the black event. Okay, I hit a swamp, which is nice. I think I might deal with that water next turn. Just before they start pumping out any big flyers. Could also kill the Octoprophet in my hand. I guess it's not really worth it for 1 point of damage. Get another black mana on the board. Can sack the desk this turn for something extra play next turn. Yeah, even without a real board presence, we're still outracing this person in terms of damage. Tramway Station's better because we can eventually draw a card off it. The extra research desk nets us more cards in the long run. What we really want now is the Dragonspark reactor, start getting value off all of these artifact entering. I think the card draw is nice here. Kill that now. Get him on the board. We're at the stage now where we can switch up blocking and dropping some of these constructs to the anvils each turn. And realistically they're one turn away from dying to just anvils plus flame breather. Okay, that doesn't untap, which doesn't really bother me. It does most of its damage passively anyway. Another Warden. I think this game is a wrap. The land. Dispute will do it. Just ping them with this. That's I think six wins and no losses with this deck so far. We haven't had a game yet where we've actually, at least in this stream, where we've got going with a Dragonspark reactor. So it'd be nice to get one of those out early in one of these games. I think a few of the games that I didn't stream, I won with things like an 18 damage Dragonspark to the face, which even the life gain in the mono white deck doesn't really handle well. So far the Dockside Chef I think has been the least useful card in the deck. Most turns you seem to have less mana than things to do with it. The exception being that game where I drew pretty much nothing but lands. Let's go ahead and drop the I guess if we hit removal, we'll kind of have to waste it. Got the tramway station. No reason really to activate that yet. Okay, no ninjutsu, which is what I was kind of fearing for a moment. Double dog. I'm expecting a Jukai Naturalist to be coming out soon. Ooh. I think I'd take the Anvil here. The desk does net more cards, but the Anvil is basically engines of the deck. Do I want to use Voltage Surge? I think if they had ninjutsu, they would have used it just now. Go ahead and drop the Dragonspark and an Oni Cult. The annoying thing is enchantment decks are the kind that can actually deal with these artifacts, and I don't have any anything to remove those. Okay, they're going to kill the chef instead, which doesn't bother me. See now if they have any ninjutsu. Doesn't look like it. So yeah, it basically just looks like the mono white deck, but with more unstable mana. Drop synthesizer. Drop an anvil. We can sack the synthesizer because I have enough mana here for everything in my deck. So now you see how the Dragonspark reactor gets ticking. Kill that. Okay, they're going to grab the Overseer back. Not really bothered about that. Get the research desk. We're about 2 turns away from lethal Dragonspark. This rate. Yeah, opponent concedes. What did we actually pull there? I think it was a Deadly Dispute and a cast down. So yeah, Deadly Dispute would have netted us another artifact, 2 more cards. Next turn, getting at least 2 more artifacts would have been up to 12 damage off the reactor. We can sack these to block the lifelinker. So yeah, pretty much inevitable if they didn't have any artifact removal in the deck. So yeah, I think I got this one on that. A few games in, a few different ways to win with the deck, but yeah, still haven't seen anything that can compete with this. I would like to play against a mono black deck. I think that's probably the bigger contender. But thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you'll enjoy playing with the deck if you decide to.